first sign that my sister was stealing my identity came wrapped in a perfectly innocent email about eyelash extensions. I almost deleted it, just another spam message cluttering my inbox, but something made me pause. The salon was thanking me for my recent $400 appointment. In Miami, I live in Seattle. My name is Delilah, and I'm what you'd call the responsible sister. The boring one, the one who works in cybersecurity and has never maxed out a credit card. I definitely don't spend $400 on eyelashes, and I haven't been to Miami since college. Hey, did you get any weird charges recently? I texted my roommate Layla, wondering if maybe our local coffee shop system had been compromised. Nope, all clear here. Why? Someone tried to buy a yacht with your card. Eyelashes, actually, in Miami. That's specific. You thinking what I'm thinking? I was, but I didn't want to be right. My phone rang. Unknown number. Usually I let those go to voicemail, but something told me to answer. Hello? Is this Delilah? I'm calling about your outstanding balance. What outstanding balance? The personal loan that's now 60 days past due. We've sent multiple notices. I don't have any personal loans. The collector sighed. Ma'am, we have all the documentation. Your sister confirmed the address last week when... He caught himself. My sister, Isabella. I'm sorry, what did you just say about my sister? I can't discuss account details with... Click. My hands were shaking as I pulled up my credit monitoring app. I hadn't checked it in months because, well, I'm boring, remember? I pay my bills on time. I have one credit card I use for emergencies. I don't take out personal loans. The screen loaded. The number staring back at me made my knees buckle. Layla, I screamed. Layla! She burst into my room, toothbrush still in her mouth. What's wrong? I turned my phone screen toward her. $50,000. $50,000 in debt I didn't create. Holy shit, she whispered. Toothpaste dripping onto her shirt. Is this all... Isabella, I'm about to find out. I spent the next hour documenting everything. Personal loans, credit cards, store accounts. All opened within the last year. All with my social security number. All with addresses I'd never lived at. Look at this. Layla pointed at my screen. These applications were all submitted from the same IP address. My parents' house, I said quietly. Where Isabella still lives. My phone buzzed. Another email, but this one made my blood run cold. It was addressed to Isabella, but sent to my email by mistake. The subject line read, Re-ID documentation approved. My hands trembled as I opened the attachment. There it was. A scan of my driver's license. Not a photo. A high-quality scan. The kind you'd only get if you had the physical card in your hands. When was the last time you saw your license? Layla asked, reading my mind. Christmas. The word felt like ash in my mouth. I left my purse in the living room while we opened presents. Memories started flooding back. Isabella's sudden shopping sprees. The new car she couldn't explain. The way she laughed when Mum said she was resourceful. My phone buzzed again. A text from Isabella. Hey sis, can you send me that scan of your W-2? Mom said you wouldn't mind. Love you. I stared at the message. A strange calm settling over me. The kind of calm that comes when you finally see something that's been right in front of you all along. Layla, I said, my voice steady. I need you to do something for me. Anything. Record everything I do from this moment on. Every call, every text, every email. Because I'm about to destroy my sister's life, and I need proof that she deserves it. Layla put her hand on my shoulder. What are you going to do? I opened my laptop and started typing an email to my friend Tanner in digital forensics. I'm going to do what I should have done years ago, I said, hitting send. I'm going to be the bad guy. My phone lit up with another text from Isabella. Did you get my message? About the W-2? Mom says to stop ignoring me. I took a deep breath and typed, Don't worry, sis. You'll have everything you deserve. Soon. Then I blocked her number and opened a new document. At the top, I typed, Evidence log. Case against Isabella Meyer. The war had begun. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I had a folder full of screenshots and a stomach full of acid. Tanner had already started tracing IP addresses, and my hands wouldn't stop shaking as I drove to my parents' house. Just remember, Layla had said before I left, They're going to try to make you feel crazy. Don't let them. The moment I walked in, I knew this wasn't going to go how I'd hoped. Isabella was already there, perched on the couch like she was posing for a photo, while Mum fussed over her coffee. "Delilah!" Mum's smile faltered when she saw my face. "We weren't expecting you." "Clearly." I pulled out my phone and opened the credit report. "Want to explain this, Isabella?" She blinked those perfect eyelashes, probably the ones I'd paid for. "Explain what?" "The $50,000 of debt in my name. The credit cards, the loans, the scanned ID you've been using." Mum's coffee cup clattered against the saucer. "What are you talking about?" "Ask her," I said, pointing at Isabella. "Ask her about the Miami salon charges, the Nordstrom account, the personal loan she took out on my birthday." Isabella's lower lip trembled. Right on cue. I just needed a little help. You never use your credit anyway, and I knew you wouldn't mind." "Wouldn't mind?" My voice cracked. "You stole my identity." "Now, hold on." Dad appeared from his study, face already red. "Let's not throw around accusations." "Accusations? I have proof." She admitted it in texts. "There are security cameras showing her using my cards. She sent my ID to someone just yesterday." Isabella burst into tears. Perfect theatrical sobs that shook her whole body. Mum rushed to her side. "Sweetheart, it's okay," Mum cooed, shooting me a venomous look. "Delilah, how dare you come in here and attack your sister like this?" "Attack her? She committed a felony." Dad stepped between us. "It's just money, Delilah. We can work this out as a family." "Just money? My credit is destroyed. I could lose my security clearance at work. This could ruin my entire career." "Then we'll help you fix it," Mum said, still cradling Isabella. "But you need to calm down." "Fix it how?" Dad cleared his throat. "You'll take responsibility for the debt. We'll help with payments when we can. But no police, no reports. This stays in the family." I stared at him, waiting for the punchline. It never came. "And if I don't agree?" "Then you're not welcome in this house anymore." Mom's voice was ice. "We protect our family, Delilah, even from themselves." Isabella peeked out from Mum's embrace, tears mysteriously gone. "I'm sorry you're so upset, sis. I just thought, since you're always so good with money, you'd want to help me." That's when I saw it. The slight smirk, the calculated look. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew she'd get away with it. Just like always. "Help you?" I laughed, and the sound scared even me. "You want my help? Fine. I'll help you understand consequences." "What's that supposed to mean?" Dad stepped closer. "It means I'm done protecting her. Done protecting all of you." I pulled out another folder. "By the way, did you know identity theft becomes a federal crime when it crosses state lines? The Miami charges alone." "Get out." Mum stood up. "Get out of my house until you can think clearly." "Gladly." I walked to the door, then turned back. "Oh, and Isabella? Those eyelashes you bought with my card? They're crooked." I drove straight to Tanner's office, hands gripping the wheels so tight my knuckles went white. He was waiting with a stack of papers and a grim expression. "You're not going to like this," he said, sliding a document across his desk. "That loan she took out on your birthday? Look who co-signed it." There in black and white were my parents' signatures. "They knew," I whispered. "They didn't just cover for her. They helped her do it." "There's more," Tanner said. "The IP logs show they accessed your accounts dozens of times, from their home network, during times Isabella wasn't even in town." My phone buzzed. A text from Mum. "Your father and I are very disappointed in your behaviour today. When you're ready to be reasonable, we'll discuss this like adults." I showed it to Tanner. "Like adults?" He nodded slowly. "Want to show them what adults really do about fraud?" I took a deep breath and pulled out my phone. Time to call Detective Daniels. "Sometimes," I said, dialing the number, "being reasonable means burning everything to the ground." Detective Daniels looked exactly like you'd expect. Tired eyes, coffee-stained tie, and an expression that said he'd heard every lie imaginable. He flipped through my evidence folder with practiced boredom. "Family fraud cases are messy," he said, not looking up. "Usually ends with the victim dropping charges." "I won't." Now he looked at me. They all say that. I pulled out my phone and played the recording from my parents' house. His eyebrows rose slightly at the threats, the manipulation, the co-signed loan confession. You record all your conversations? I work in cybersecurity. Documentation is everything. He leaned back, reassessing me. Walk me through the timeline. For the next hour, Tanner and I laid it out. The credit card applications, the loan documents, the IP addresses, the security footage from stores where Isabella had used my cards, the texts, the emails, the scanned ID. And this? Daniels pointed to a timestamp on one of the loan applications. That's what broke me, I said. She applied for it at 12:01 a.m. on my birthday. Symbolic, he muttered, making notes. Strategic, Tanner corrected. Credit algorithms flag suspicious activity. But who wouldn't splurge on their birthday? Daniels nodded slowly. You've built quite a case. Better than most professionals I work with. I had motivation. My phone buzzed. Isabella's number, but with a different area code. I showed Daniels. She's already getting burner phones, he said. Don't answer. Let her dig the hole deeper. Back at my apartment, Layla was waiting with dinner and a determined expression. I filed the credit freeze, she said, sliding me a plate. And I've got something else you need to see. She pulled up a social media post from Isabella's best friend Peyton. A photo of my sister at a luxury resort, tagged from 2 days ago. The caption, living my best life with my girl. Thanks for the treat, Dee. Dee, I said. She's still using my cards. Check the comments, I scrolled down. Isabella had replied, delete this. You know we talked about keeping things quiet. Screenshot everything, I told Layla, and send it to Daniels. My phone lit up again. Mom this time. Isabella's hysterical, she hissed when I answered. She says you're trying to send her to jail. Your own sister. Put her on the phone. What? Put her on the phone. A shuffle, then Isabella's voice, suddenly strong and clear. No tears now. You really want to do this? She asked. Because I can make things so much worse for you. Is that a threat? It's a promise. I know things about you. Things that would devastate your precious career. I laughed. Try me. Remember that coding project in college? The one that got you your first internship? I found your old laptop. The one with all the borrowed code. My heart stopped for a second. Then I remembered who I was dealing with. Nice try. That laptop was destroyed in a fire 4 years ago. You're bluffing. Silence. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to pay back every cent. You're going to admit what you did. Or I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who you are. Mom, she screamed. Did you hear how she's threatening me? I hung up and immediately sent the recording to Daniels. Within minutes, he texted back, adding witness intimidation to the charges. Keep it coming. Tanner called next. You need to see this right now. I drove to his office, where he had multiple screens displaying financial records. Look at the loan paperwork, he said. Really look at it. I scanned the documents until I saw it. The notary stamp on my parents' signatures. The date. They signed this the day before I even got my driver's license renewed, I whispered. They planned this. All of it. Want to know the best part? Tanner pointed to a small checkbox. They used your parents' house as collateral. If this loan defaults, they lose everything. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Family meeting, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Be there or we go nuclear. Dad. I showed it to Tanner. Perfect, he said. Detective Daniels can have a warrant ready by then. No, I replied, a plan forming. Tell him to wait. Tomorrow night I want them to think they've won. I want them comfortable, confident. And then I thought about that birthday loan, about years of being the responsible one, the boring one, the one they could safely ignore. And then I show them what nuclear really looks like. I arrived at my parents' house at 6:55 p.m., wearing my most responsible daughter outfit, the kind of clothes that said, I've come to my senses. Tanner's surveillance van was parked 3 blocks away, recording everything. You're late, Mum said when I walked in. Actually, I'm 5 minutes early. Isabella sat in Dad's leather armchair like it was a throne. She'd been crying again. Her mascara was artfully smudged. Sit down, Dad commanded. We've come up with a solution. I perched on the edge of the couch, phone recording in my pocket. I'm listening. Mum pulled out a stack of papers. We've spoken to our lawyer. He's drawn up an agreement. You'll assume responsibility for all the outstanding debts, and we'll help you make the payments. How generous, I said, taking the papers. And Isabella? Your sister has agreed to seek counselling for her spending habits, Dad said proudly, like this was some great concession. That's it? Isabella sniffled. I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't fix my credit score. About that. Mum slid another document across the coffee table. We've prepared a statement. You'll tell the credit bureaus these were authorised charges, that this was all a misunderstanding. I stared at the paper. You want me to lie? We want you to fix this. Dad's face was turning red again. This family has a reputation to maintain. A reputation, I repeated slowly. Is that what you were maintaining when you co-signed her loan? When you helped her steal my identity? The room went silent. What are you talking about? Mum's voice wavered. I pulled out my phone and played the recording of Isabella admitting to the theft. Then the security footage of my parents at the bank, signing the loan documents the day before I renewed my license. Where did you get that? Dad stood up. I'm very good at my job, I said, standing too. And you're very bad at covering your tracks. Isabella launched into full sob mode. Daddy, she's trying to hurt us. No, I cut her off. I'm done letting you hurt me. I walked to the door, then turned back. By the way, I've reported everything. The police have been building a case for weeks. Mum lunged for me, but I stepped back. You wouldn't dare. Check your phones, I said. On cue, their devices buzzed with text messages from Detective Daniels, confirming their interview appointments for tomorrow morning. You've destroyed this family, Dad growled. You did that when you chose her over me, every single time. I walked out, letting the door slam behind me. In my car, I texted Tanner. It's done. Did you get everything? Crystal clear, he replied. Daniels is impressed. Says their reactions were practically confessions. I drove home feeling lighter, but that feeling didn't last long. Mum's car was circling my office parking lot the next morning. Then Isabella's friends started showing up at my favourite coffee shop, watching me. They're trying to intimidate you, Layla said when I told her. Stay at my place tonight. I agreed, but first I needed to grab some clothes from my apartment. The garage door wouldn't open when I hit the remote. Strange, burning smell. I called 911. The fire department arrived in minutes. Someone had stuffed oily rags into my garage door mechanism. If I'd opened it... This wasn't random, Detective Daniels said, examining the scene. You need protection. I need this to end, I replied. My phone buzzed. A text from Isabella. Scary world out there, sis. Accidents happen. I showed Daniels the message. That's it, he said, already dialing. We're moving on them tonight. This just became witness intimidation with attempted bodily harm. Wait, I said, an idea forming. Let me send one message first. I typed, You're right, Isabella. Accidents do happen, like accidentally copying Dad's entire hard drive before I left last night, including his private email folder. Wonder what's in there. 3 dots appeared as she typed, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, what do you want? Meet me. Tomorrow, noon. The coffee shop by my office. Come alone? Fine. I showed Daniels the exchange. You didn't really copy his hard drive, did you? I smiled. No, but Isabella doesn't know that, and Dad's guilty conscience will do the rest. My phone buzzed again. Dad, this time. What did you find? I didn't respond. Let them sweat. You're playing a dangerous game, Daniels warned. No, I said, watching the fire department pack up their gear. I'm just finally playing their game, and I'm better at it than they are. That night, from Layla's couch, I sent one final text to my family's group chat. See you tomorrow. Bring your confessions or I'll bring mine. Then I turned off my phone and slept better than I had in years. The coffee shop was packed when I arrived at 11:45. Perfect. Plenty of witnesses. Tanner sat in one corner, pretending to work on his laptop. 2 plainclothes officers nursed lattes by the window. Detective Daniels waited in his car across the street. At 11:55, My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Back booth. Now. I looked up to see Peyton, Isabella's best friend, sitting alone in the corner. This wasn't part of the plan. "Where's Isabella?" I asked, sliding into the booth. Peyton looked terrible, mascara smeared, hands shaking as she clutched her coffee cup. "She's not coming. But we need to talk." "About what?" "About how your sister ruined my life too." I leaned forward. "I'm listening." "Last month, Isabella convinced me to co-sign on a car loan. Said she needed a co-signer because of some mix-up with her credit." Peyton laughed bitterly. "Guess I know what that mix-up was now." "Let me guess. She hasn't made any payments?" "Worse. The car doesn't exist. It was all fake paperwork. But the loan is very real, and now they're coming after me for $45,000. My heart sank. "How many others?" "At least 3 that I know of. She's been running this scam for months. Different names, different stories, but always the same pattern." I pulled out my phone and texted Daniels. "You need to hear this." "That's not all, Ming," Peyton continued, her voice dropping. "Yesterday, she asked me to hold on to a package. Said it was just some old photos, but it wasn't." "What was it?" "Blank credit cards, dozens of them. And a machine. I googled it. It's for encoding magnetic stripes." My hands started shaking. "Where is it now?" "In my trunk. I was going to turn it in, but then I saw your parents outside my house this morning. Just watching. I'm scared, Delilah." I texted Daniels again. "Need escort to Peyton's car. Evidence inside." "Isabella's planning something big," Peyton said. "She's been talking about Costa Rica, about how they don't extradite for financial crimes. She has a flight booked for next week." "How do you know this?" She pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots. Isabella and my mother discussing passport details, flight confirmations, offshore account numbers. "They're all in on it," Peyton whispered. "Your parents. They're not just covering for her, they're helping her run." My phone buzzed. "Isabella, since you're chatting with my ex-bestie, thought you'd like to know. Mom and Dad's house is empty. Nobody home to protect all those precious files you claim to copy. Oops." I showed Peyton the text. Her face went white. "She's going to burn down their house? Her own parents' house?" "No," I said, the pieces finally clicking. "She's going to burn down their house and blame me. The perfect revenge story, the jealous sister, driven mad by false accusations, destroys the family home." I forwarded the text to Daniels. His response was immediate. "Units en route. Stay where you are." But Peyton was already standing. "We have to go. The evidence in my car, if she knows I talked to you." We rushed outside. 2 blocks away, sirens wailed. "Your car," I said. "Where is it?" "The parking garage, 2nd level." We ran. The garage was dark, quiet. Too quiet. "Something's wrong," I whispered. Peyton's car came into view. The trunk was open. Empty. "Looking for this?" Isabella stepped out from behind a pillar, holding a small duffel bag. "Really, Peyton? I thought we were friends." "It's over, Isabella," I said. "The police are already on their way." She smiled. That perfect practice smile. "To do what? Arrest me for having an empty bag? Check the trunk, sis. Check the whole car. Everything's gone." Peyton started crying. "What did you do?" "The better question is, what did you do?" Isabella's voice turned sharp. "Because according to the security cameras, you just spent 20 minutes trying to convince my poor sister to help you frame me, right before you planted evidence in your own car." My blood ran cold. She'd planned this entire meeting. "Nobody will believe that," I said. "They'll believe the video. They'll believe the witnesses who saw you two conspiring. They'll believe the threatening texts you sent me, the ones where you demanded money to keep quiet about your little fraud scheme." Sirens grew closer. "Face it, sis," Isabella smirked. "You just walked right into my trap, and this time you're going down alone." But she was so focused on her victory speech, she didn't notice me reach into my pocket and press stop on the recording app. "Drop the bag, Isabella." Detective Daniels' voice echoed through the parking garage. He stepped out from behind a concrete pillar, gun drawn. Isabella's smirk faltered. "This is a private family matter, Detective. Nothing private about fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy." He nodded to his right. "Or attempted arson." 2 more officers emerged. leading our parents in handcuffs. Mum's mascara was streaked down her face. Dad looked small, defeated. "What did you do?" Isabella screamed at me. "I learned from the best," I said, holding up my phone. "Always have a backup plan, right?" Daniels gestured to the bag. "Put it down, slowly." She did, eyes darting between the exits. "This is all a misunderstanding." "Save it for your statement," Daniels said. "Though your mother's already given quite an interesting one." Mum's head snapped up. "I didn't—" "You did," the female officer holding her said. "For 2 hours, every detail, including how this whole scheme was your idea." Isabella went pale. "Mum, I had to," Mum wailed. "They were going to take everything. The house, the accounts." "Shut up," Dad shouted. "Just shut up." But Mum was breaking. "It was supposed to be simple. Use Delilah's credit to fix our debts. She never used it anyway. But then Isabella got greedy, started selling information to her friends." "Mother," Isabella's voice cracked. "The loan company was investigating," Mum continued. "We had to make it look like Delilah was crazy, discredit her before she figured it out. Isabella said she could handle it." Daniels nodded to his officers. "Read them their rights." As they were cuffed, Isabella made one last attempt. "Delilah, please, we're family." "Family." I walked closer. "Family doesn't steal identities. Family doesn't try to frame each other. Family doesn't plan to flee the country while setting up their sister to take the fall." Her eyes widened. "How did you— your Costa Rica plans?" Peyton wasn't the only one with screenshots. "Ms. Meyer," an officer called from the stairwell. "We found the fire accelerants in their car, just like you said we would." Isabella lunged at me, but Daniels caught her. As he cuffed her, she spat. "You think you've won? You've got nothing. It's your word against—" "Actually," Tanner stepped out from his hiding spot, laptop open. "She's got everything, including the video feed you thought you controlled." He turned the screen toward her. "Next time, maybe don't use the parking garage's Wi-Fi to hack their security system." Amateur move. I watched them lead my family away. Mum crying, Dad silent, Isabella threatening everyone in sight. "Detective," I called out. "What happens now?" "Now?" He smiled grimly. "Now they face federal charges, identity theft across state lines, wire fraud, conspiracy, attempted arson, witness intimidation." He shook his head. "They'll be lucky to see daylight before retirement age." Peyton touched my arm. "I'm so sorry. For everything. For not coming forward sooner. You did the right thing eventually," I said. "That's what matters." My phone buzzed. A text from Layla. "News vans outside your office. Stories breaking." "Perfect." "Detective," I said. "Mind if we do this next part somewhere more public?" He understood immediately. The precinct steps should work. Lots of cameras there this time of day. As we walked to his car, I heard Isabella's final scream echo through the garage. "I'll tell them everything. About the college coding. About the—" "You mean this coding?" Tanner held up a USB drive. "The completely legal, fully documented project that won Delilah her internship? The one your sister actually did keep copies of? Just in case?" Isabella's face crumpled as the last of her leverage evaporated. Outside, the sun was bright. News vans lined the street. Reporters waited with microphones ready. "Ready?" Daniels asked. I straightened my jacket and thought about that first fraudulent charge. The eyelash extensions that started it all. The years of being the responsible one, the boring one, the one they thought they could use and discard. "Actually," I said, "there's one more thing." I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. In front of the gathering cameras, I transferred every cent from my parents' joint account, the one they'd given me access to for emergencies, into the victim restitution fund Daniels had set up. "For their other victims," I told him. "Seems only fair they pay for their own crimes." As the reporters surged forward, microphones extended, I smiled directly into the nearest camera. "My name is Delilah," I said clearly, "and I have a story to tell you about identity theft, family betrayal, and justice." Behind me, I heard the police cars pull away, carrying my family to their new reality. Some fires, I thought, are worth starting. The courthouse buzzed with nervous energy. 3 months had passed since the arrests. and today was Judgment Day. Isabella sat at the defendant's table, wearing a baggy suit that made her look like a child playing dress-up. No makeup, no perfect hair, no adoring audience. "All rise," the bailiff called. Judge Martinez entered, her face unreadable. My parents' sentencing had happened last week, 5 years each for conspiracy and fraud. Now it was Isabella's turn. "Before we proceed," the judge said, "does the defendant wish to make a statement?" Isabella stood, hands shaking. "Your Honor, I've made mistakes." "Mistakes?" The judge's eyebrow raised. "Ms. Meyer, you orchestrated a sophisticated fraud scheme that spanned multiple states, victimized dozens of people, and nearly destroyed your sister's life. Those aren't mistakes. Those are choices. I was desperate." "You were greedy," the judge cut her off. "Your bank records show over $200,000 in luxury purchases, while your victims lost their homes, their savings, their futures." Isabella tried again. "My parents are serving their sentences. This is about you." The prosecutor stood. "Your Honor, we have one more victim impact statement." My turn. I walked to the podium, my heels clicking on the marble floor. Isabella wouldn't look at me. "Your Honor," I began, "my sister likes to talk about family, about loyalty, about protection, but real family doesn't exploit trust. Real family doesn't steal identities. Real family doesn't try to destroy someone who simply wanted justice." Isabella finally met my eyes. I saw something there I'd never seen before. Fear. "I'm not here to ask for revenge," I continued. "I'm here to ask for consequences. Real ones. Because without them, she'll never stop. She'll never change. She'll just find new victims, new schemes, new ways to avoid responsibility." "Delilah, please," Isabella whispered. "The night she was arrested, she tried to frame me one last time. Tried to burn down our parents' house and blame me. That's who she is, Your Honor. Someone who would sacrifice anyone to save herself." The judge nodded slowly. "And what sentence would you recommend?" "Whatever it takes to ensure she can never hurt anyone else." Isabella jumped up. "This isn't fair. She's lying. She's always been jealous of me. Always wanted to—" "Sit down," her lawyer hissed, pulling her back. The judge shuffled some papers. "I have reviewed all the evidence, the victim statements, the financial records, the attempted cover-up." She looked directly at Isabella. "Stand for sentencing." Isabella rose, trembling. "For multiple counts of identity theft, wire fraud, conspiracy, and attempted arson, this court sentences you to 8 years in federal prison. Following release, you will serve 5 years of supervised probation. You are ordered to pay full restitution to all victims, totaling $847,000. The gavel cracked like thunder. Isabella collapsed into her chair. "No, no, no!" As the bailiff approached with handcuffs, she turned to me one last time. "I'm your sister. You can't let them do this. You stopped being my sister the moment you decided to destroy my life." They led her away, her designer shoes scuffing on the floor, her borrowed suit hanging loose on her shrinking frame. Outside, reporters waited with cameras ready, but it was Tanner who caught my attention, running up the courthouse steps. "You need to see this," he said, showing me his phone. "An email from my mother's prison account. Delilah, I know it's too late, but you need to understand. Everything we did was because Isabella threatened to expose your father's embezzlement at his firm. We thought we could protect everyone. We were wrong. I'm so sorry." "Delete it," I said, "but their secrets aren't my problem anymore." Detective Daniels appeared beside us. "Need a ride?" "Actually," I said, "I need a favour." An hour later, we stood in my parents' empty house, now seized by the government. I walked through the rooms one last time, remembering birthdays, holidays, moments when we almost felt like a real family. In my old bedroom, a photo still hung on the wall, Isabella and me as kids, before everything went wrong. I took it down and placed it in my bag. "Ready?" Daniels asked from the doorway. "Almost." I pulled out a letter I'd written last night and left it on the kitchen counter. Not for them, they'd never see it, but for me. "Dear family, you taught me that love means sacrifice, that family protects its own. You were right about one thing. I did learn from you. I learned exactly who I never want to be. Goodbye, Delilah." Walking out, I didn't look back. Some houses aren't homes, some families aren't forever, and some victories taste like goodbye. The restitution check arrived on a Tuesday. $847,000 made out to a victim compensation fund I'd established. I stared at it, remembering Isabella's last words in court, then ripped it cleanly in half. "Are you crazy?" Layla gasped from across the kitchen table. "That's your money." "No," I said. "It's blood money, and I'm done with their blood." My phone buzzed. A text from Peyton. "Turn on the news. Now." The headline scrolled across the screen. "Major financial firm under federal investigation." My father's company. The embezzlement my mother had hinted at in her email. It was all unravelling. "Karma's not done with them yet," Tanner said, walking into my new apartment with a stack of papers. "Ready to sign?" I grabbed a pen. New name, new social security number, new life, all legally obtained through the Identity Theft Protection Program. "Goodbye, Delilah Meyer," I muttered, signing the final document. "Hello, Delilah Reed?" My phone rang. Detective Daniels. "Thought you'd want to know," he said when I answered. "Isabella tried to make a deal. Said she had dirt on everyone, but turns out, when you're the family scapegoat—" "You're also the family's best-kept secret," I finished. "Exactly. They've got nothing on you. But we found something interesting in your father's private records. Seems he's been running this scheme for decades. Other families, other victims. And Isabella learned from the master? Like father, like daughter." He paused. "You sure about not taking that money?" I looked at the torn check. "The victims need it more than I do." "Speaking of victims," he said, "remember that college kid Isabella scammed? The one who lost her tuition money? Sarah, what about her?" "She's starting classes next week. Full scholarship. Anonymous donor." I smiled. "Good for her. You know, most people would have taken revenge, would have burned it all down." "I did burn it down," I said. "I just built something better from the ashes." Layla cleared her throat. "Speaking of building," she slid a business card across the table. "Remember that startup idea we talked about? Identity protection for abuse survivors?" I picked up the card. "Digital Phoenix Protection Services. Tanner's already on board for the tech side. We've got 3 investors interested. And who better to run it than someone who lived it?" My doorbell rang. A delivery man held out a package. From the prison. "Your sister insisted," he said. Inside was a photo album. On the first page, Isabella's handwriting. "Remember when we were real sisters?" I closed the album without looking further and handed it to Daniels. "Evidence locker. Let them keep their memories." "You sure?" "The sister in those photos died a long time ago. I'm not that girl anymore, and I'm done pretending she's coming back." My phone lit up with a message from an unknown number. My mother, using another inmate's account. "We did it all for family." I typed back, "No, you did it all for Isabella. And now you can keep her. Forever. Block. Delete." Tanner whistled. "Ice cold." "No," I said, picking up the business card again. "Just finally free." I walked to my window, looking out at the Seattle skyline. Somewhere out there, other families were falling apart. Other scapegoats were carrying burdens that weren't theirs. "So," Layla said, "Digital Phoenix? You in?" I thought about Sarah, starting college, about Peyton, rebuilding her credit, about all the others who'd been caught in my family's web. "On one condition," I said. "We make it free for anyone escaping family fraud. No questions asked." "Deal." I pulled out my laptop and opened a new document. Not an evidence log this time. Not a victim statement. A business plan. "You know," Tanner said, reading over my shoulder, "this could actually work. Turn your nightmare into someone else's salvation." "That's the point," I replied, typing the mission statement. "Because sometimes family is the first fraud we learn to survive." My phone buzzed one last time. Detective Daniels had sent a photo. Isabella in her prison uniform, head down, walking to her cell. I deleted it without a second glance. "Ready?" Layla asked, holding up the torn check. I grabbed my coat. "Let's go donate this to the victims' fund. Then we've got a company to build." As we walked out, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. No more second best daughter, no more family scapegoat, just me, finally writing my own story. Sometimes karma doesn't knock on your door. Sometimes you become karma. And sometimes that's exactly the justice you need.